Okay, in the last lesson I showed you how to insert an image from the internet into Illustrator. Today's lesson is going to show you how to take that image and convert it into a vector-based drawing, which is going to consist of paths as opposed to little pixels that are colored. So, little explanation first. Most images that you get off the internet are going to be in a raster format, and what I mean by that is they are they consist of a series of little squares. You can see them here, and they're assigned different colors to give the illusion of a particular shape. And at low resolution, they work awesome. They don't take up a lot of space or memory, so I mean the internet is full of this. If you were to print this image on a large format printer and increase the size of it, it wouldn't look very good for that reason. Illustrator has a couple of ways of converting this style of image to a vector, which is going to be a nice smooth line instead of a kind of a staircase jagged look. So the two methods that Illustrator has to accomplish this, one is called livetrace, and the other is using one of the tools over here, the pen tool. That'll be a video of a next lesson, or several lessons, but today we're just going to use the livetrace button. Now, Illustrator is a professional-based drawing program used by graphic illustrators all over the world. What we're going to do is we're just going to kind of scratch the surface of some of the things it can do. What I need you to do is recognize that there's a tool panel here, some menu fill-ins up here that can, will have different attributes to them. Like in most programs, when you hover over a particular tool, it tells you the name of it. We want the selection tool to be selected right now, and I can tell it is. Right? When it's selected, I'd like you to go to your image that you have. It doesn't matter the size that your image is, as long as it's somewhere on the page, that's perfect. I want you to left click, and you'll notice that when I left clicked, it put a little blue box around the outside of it telling me that it's selected, and it also opened up other options up on the top here that apply to this image. And you'll notice one of them is live traced. And you can see what it says there. It says converts raster images into tracing objects. So I'm just going to left click on that right now. And you'll notice that the color on the picture has been removed. And it's not a vector yet, but it has been traced by Illustrator. And the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to expand it. When we expand it, you'll notice that all the lines that make up this image have a blue path around them with little nodes around each corner. This drawing has now been converted into a vector-based drawing, which is totally scalable. I'll show you that in just a second. If I were to use my zoom key, right, you can see that it is smooth. Does not have that staircase look. Doesn't matter what size I zoom into, it's going to be a smooth line. Okay, we're almost done. When Illustrator converts something to a vector drawing, it converts it into layers. And this layer panel may or may not be open. If it's not open on your screen, like this right now, you can go to Window and go to Layers and open it up. The other thing you want to do is you want to left click on that little triangle to open up and expand that group. And these are all the different layers that make up this particular drawing now. And you'll notice if I click on any of them, over on this little circle part where my mouse is, you'll notice that the drawing highlighted area is the one that's selected. If I click a different one, different parts of it are selected. Now we're down at the bottom of the page with that little writing. What we want to do is we want to eliminate any of the extra layers that don't really affect the drawing. So what I mean by that is simple thing, go to each of these layers and hit delete. If you don't notice a huge change in your drawing, you're good. There's 3 different ways to delete. When it's selected, I can just hit the backspace button like I did now. I can also, when it's selected, I can go over to edit and go clear, or I can click on it and I can drag it physically into the trash. And you're always watching, when you're deleting, you're always watching to see, I'm going to just hit backspace now because it's going to be quicker. You're always watching your image, and if the image changes drastically, we're going to undo that last. Whoop! I just lost part of my image. I don't want that, so I'm going to go Control Z on the keyboard, or I could go up here and go Edit, Undo, Clear, and it comes back. So we obviously want that one. Let's click on the next one. I'm going to just hit delete, and that's no good either. I'm going to go Edit, Undo. Obviously that's important. And I'm going to keep hitting there. We're removing some of the stuff at the bottom of the page here. For it to delete, it's got to be blue, and that circle's got to be selected. You should be looking at your image to see what the delete is, what effect the delete button is having. You'll see here with this one, you'll see that it's highlighting the circle. You would think that would be important, but watch, I'm gonna hit the delete button, and it's still there. What that means is, it means that there were two paths right on top of one another, and we needed to get rid of one of them. We've already done that one. I think that's an important one. Yeah, and let's do this one, and that's also an important one. Okay, we've drastically changed the number of layers. Now everything that's there is important. Now I'd like you to go to File. I'd like you to save it, and I want you to save as, because we have to change the saving structure. The name can stay the same, or actually I'm going to change it to logo 1, and I'm going to go save. Make sure you know where you're saving it, and you have to hit the save button twice, and this Illustrator options comes up. This is where it's important now. You need to change the version now. We have to kind of save it in an earlier format so Mastercam, the next program, will actually work with it. So we're going to change this to Illustrator 8. You'll notice a little alert symbol there. Don't worry about it. I'm going to click OK. You'll get this little window here that says saving this document in an older format may convert all types of point, and may disable some of the features. It's okay. Click yes. And you're done. That's the end of converting your raster style pixelated image into a vector the quick and easy way in Illustrator. Following lessons will show you the more professional way of getting good results. The livetrace method does work well sometimes. It doesn't always work well, and you have to remember that. If you livetrace an image that you have and it doesn't look good, that's a characteristic of that tool. It's a convenience, but it doesn't always do the best job. This particular instance, it worked very well and didn't really change the overall image at all. Hopefully you've learned something, and we'll see you in the next lesson.